Ja. Rastafari.
Hey,
Hey, bro.
what up, brethren?
Mm-mm.
What's up, man? How you been?
Bro. Every day, these times are these times where like on some horoscope shit, if it was relayed like it was a deck of cards, like every era has a deck of cards, like this is the queen era, this is the king. This shit is the Joker era.
Bruh,
Card.
bruh,
Who fucking knows, bro?
fam. It's like you don't even
Oh,
know.
San Francisco getting rid of the standard police officers unarmed on some
Crazy,
European shit. Who knows
crazy.
where it's gonna go? In the Supreme Court, they're getting rid of. They're like, nah, we're not gonna
We're not
entertain
going to go into
qualified.
qualified immunity.
Yeah, all
You
right.
got. He signs the order today that says we need a database of cops, and most chokeholds are banned. Except you feel like if your life is in danger, you can still choke somebody.
Right. So who knows? Like it's just it's a strange time. So that's how I am, bro. How you been?
Listen, I've been good, man. I've been good. I've been excited about the conversations that have been taking place. You know what I'm saying? That's the biggest thing for me. The conversations. Those are the most important things to me. I love this. The entire chat room is like, where the fuck is Nana? Damn, y'all.
Nana's stuck in traffic, y'all. So
both Nanas. They said, where's Nana and Nana?
Yeah, Nana and Chris Patterson, they ain't here today.
Yeah, man.
But Nana sends his love.
He does. Nana sends his love.
Yeah, some things to tend to, okay?
Sir. Yes, sir. We're going to listen. It's going to be a great conversation. Of course, another one that's mandatory and necessary. And speaking of that, what's your mathematics for tonight, brother?
Bro, you didn't think I was going to do it.
Here you go.
Yeah, so I got this. I made this drink. I based it off the Royal Sidecar. You know what this is. This is the blood orange Royal Sidecar.
Here we go.
With sprinkles of agave, and blood orange essence. But it's essentially a sidecar, but it has a little bit of blood orange. There it is.
All right.
A little blood orange. That's me, man. That's my math. What's good with you, bro?
Listen, my mathematics for today, of course, is per usual cheap but effective. This is this is 19 crimes.
We're familiar.
19 crimes. You're familiar. You've seen me drink out of this bottle a couple of times.
That's the wine I drink.
And then my OG of choice tonight, as you see, I like to come with a full pack. I'm going to do my best not to smoke the entire thing during the show. It's actually called Hell's OG. I don't know if that's an omen for the conversation.
Hell's OG. Huh. I wonder what his name was.
I'm smoking on the OG of hell tonight, so I don't know if that's
going to man. I say salud, bro.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
L'chaim. So today, the reason why that shit is funny that you're smoking on Hell's OG. the book for today is the Gospel of St. Thomas. This was discovered in 1945, and it's believed to be one of the early mystical gospels. And some people actually believe that this gospel is the truest words, closest to what Jesus actually spoke. It was written in Aramaic at the time, and so they believe it's the closest translation to what he actually spoke. Now, this was moved out of the Bible because the powers that be, they was like, I don't really like how he's talking.
In layman's terms, for someone like myself who is just learning about these type of texts, this is Jesus's Illmatic right here. This is his Watch the Throne. This is his blueprint. This is his what's going on. This is like these. You immediately reading this can understand why a lot of this was. We're gonna shelve that. Like we're not gonna.
Yeah.
Because
there was no way they were gonna build the church on this. Right?
Oh no.
He was, but that's the thing. Jesus was a revolutionary.
Absolutely.
Jesus was
a protester.
Yeah, he was out there. Yeah, he went into temples and was like, "Fuck your false idols," and just passed
100%.
up the temple. That would be called a terrorist or a radical. Like that's
Yes.
what he
Oh,
was.
absolutely.
And this book, to me, is the book that you can actually feel it. Like
Yes.
this is him raw. These are his freestyles at the crib. Like this is that purple tapes Jesus. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Listen, I go into reading it, and the first thing he said was, it's a couple of them, but it's either the 2-1 or the state secret one. Either one of
Oh
them
yeah,
is
yeah.
heavy.
To me, let's put that on, Brooklyn. The one about secrets that where
Man. And
so
he's just keeping it real. A lot of most of these sayings, first of all, they're very blunt, very direct. A lot of them are anti-control and more so saying that you have the autonomy to be a good person, have a good soul, have a good spirit. So
yeah, autonomy.
exactly.
Can you read actually, Yusuf, you want to
Yeah.
read that?
So I read this one. So he said, "Listen, I'm not going to do this in my 1985 voice. I'm going to do this regular. Don't lie and don't do what you hate." That's a t-shirt right there. That's a t-shirt. I'm putting that on a t-shirt. Because everything is revealed in the sight of heaven. For there's nothing hidden that won't be revealed, and nothing covered up that will stay secret. Bars.
Those are the bars, and those are the times we're in.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean, we talk about this as a black reckoning moment in history.
Yep.
And Jesus is basically saying like, all your little dirt, you're gonna get found out.
100%. And I think a lot of us are seeing that right now because, with black, there is no black liberation if everyone isn't included. That's black. There's no liberation if everybody is not a part of it. And what you're seeing is a double reckoning, right? You're seeing multiple wars being brought to the forefront.
Yeah.
Yes, we have the things that we're dealing with oppression. Yes, we have the things we're dealing with classism and racism. But it's something that, I think even Malcolm X spoke to. And I remember seeing this clip where he basically was saying a huge part of us awakening ourselves is we actually are going to end up having to go inward and hold ourselves accountable, specifically talking to men.
Yes.
And how we protect and on many accords do not protect our women.
Absolutely. I mean,
let's go right there, bro, because you already know we already know how me and you are about this.
Yeah,
Let's go
I saw your
there.
post early. I mean, of course, everybody is deeply saddened by Oluwatoyin Salau's passing.
Yes.
This is unfortunately not the first time this has happened. Women have been saying for hundreds and thousands of years in different societies that this is what is happening. In the same way that black people have been saying for 400 years in this side of the world, the truth.
Yep.
And women have been saying it from day one.
Absolutely.
And black woman is the goddess of humanity. There are no arguments about it. So when you see that the goddess not being protected, and the worst part about it to me, man, and you spoke about this.
Yeah.
The same motherfuckers that front like they're the wokest niggas, the most
crazy.
hotep ass niggas,
crazy.
Talking wearing the same shirts that you and I might wear, protect black women at all costs. When they say protect, they mean own.
Yep.
Let's be clear.
Yep.
But they disguise themselves, and behind their backs, behind our backs, they do things to women. And I know, to the men out there, I know what you've done because women confide in me.
Absolutely.
And, and they protect you in spite.
In spite of the bullshit
and
that
they protect you from niggas like me. Because don't let me come to your house, bro.
100%.
And that's the thing. So we're in a time where these things have to be dealt with, like
Absolutely.
at our core.
I said if black women speaking to their experiences triggers you to go into defense, then you're guilty.
Oh yeah.
And you are.
Yeah.
And I'm tired of us as men playing these games and acting like we don't know what it is, gaslighting women, acting like we don't know what it is, acting like we've never. What are you talking about? None of my homies is like that.
Innocent.
Listen, I'm honest to say that I've grown a whole lot since I
Likewise.
was in my 20s. You know what I'm saying?
Likewise,
Because
bro.
most of that shit it's taught to you. All of these behaviors, they're taught to you. The way we view women is taught to us. And me and you, we talk about this all the time. I'm still learning. We're still every
Sure.
day. You're
Yeah.
still learning.
We
You're
talk to
still
each other as men in our circles because we might see somebody do something simple. Like if I cut off a woman,
yep,
Yusuf might be like, "Hey, bro, we talked about this. There's something you got to watch out for," and then
absolutely.
I'll adjust because so it's those small conversations that we have. Because to me, the larger thing is fuck the bro code, bro. On,
Fuck,
on,
yo,
on
come on, yo.
everything.
The real
That
bro
bro
code
code is
the real bro code is having those discussions because one thing I always say, and I'd liken this back to about our friendship was that complete transparency, not the oh you my homie, so if you my bro then like I'm gonna let it slide. No, I'm gonna pull you to the side. I'm gonna say, brother, that's not the way we operate. That's not the way we do things. Now, in my neighborhoods, and I'm sure you in your neighborhoods, we've grown in the way that we check our homies. Because before, I would grip your ass.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It would just be a fight.
It
Like
ain't no words. It
it
ain't
would
no
just be
words.
a fight. Like
You know what I
so
mean? So they're
it,
lucky that women are talking to their dumbasses.
yeah.
You're lucky that they talking to you. You're
Yeah.
lucky that they taking the time to still try to teach you, even while dealing with all these wars and fighting for us.
Yeah.
Fighting for us. There's no reason, today is Pac's birthday.
Man.
There's no reason why. And since we all came from a woman, got our name from a woman, and our game from a woman, I wonder why we take from our women, why we rape our women, we hate our women. I think it's time that we kill for our women. Time to heal for our women. Be real to our women. If we don't, we'll have a race of babies that hate the ladies that make the babies. And since a man can't make one, he has no right to tell a woman when and where to create one. So will the real men get up? Ladies, I know y'all fed up. This motherfucker was talking about this 20 years ago.
Bro, this nigga brought in abortion rights, bro. And also consent in the hardest way that you could. Now, mind you, Pac wasn't without his flaws, and that's what you
exactly.
And as men, it's okay. Exactly. Like as enraged as I am, actually as violent as I feel in me. Like when I see what happened to Ola,
yeah, we're really.
It actually arouses the killer in me.
Yeah,
100%. But I have to tone it down because I know that these men were socialized, and the society designed these men to do these actions.
Absolutely.
So what they really need is healing.
Mm-hmm.
Black men need empowerment.
Absolutely.
So that empowerment does not mean that women are up top and the they're all matriarchal. That's not what empowerment means.
Mm-hmm.
You have to find your self-worth. And we as brothers have to recognize and affirm because this comes out of pain.
And I think the thing about that, and this is even going back to the text, is getting away from this idea of this going to a non-binary, right? Healing has nothing to do with you being a man or a woman. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with you being a human being and a person. And this text, listen, it ain't no way they was letting that get in there. Let's bring up that other quote about man and woman, because that right there to me, the inside and the outside. I mean, that speaks directly, it speaks so much and directly to just healing.
So Jesus said, when you make the two one, and when you make the inside like the outside, and the outside like the inside, and the above like the below. And when you make the male and the female one and the same, so that the male not be male, nor the female female.
Yes.
And when you fashion eyes in the place of an eye, and a hand in place of a hand, and a foot in place of a foot, and a likeness in place of a likeness, then you will enter the kingdom of heaven.
The kingdom.
I mean, you know how far ahead this nigga was? He said, basically, you're male, you're not a male, female, you're not a female. Y'all are one. When you make the male and the female one and the same, so the male not be male nor the female. He was already in non-binary world back then. He was seeing where. That's why I believe this shit. He was seeing everything. He's like, y'all may not get it right now. What the fuck I'm talking about? But I gotta say it. God told me to say it. So here it is. Basically, non-binary. Also, you have femininity in you, masculine. person,
Yes.
and
Yes.
feminine person, you have masculinity in it. I know y'all not gonna get it, but in a few thousand years, y'all have a
Y'all will get
whole,
this. You
yeah.
guys will understand that we're just
Now,
one and the same.
I want to
And
bring somebody in, our guest of today, who he's the one that actually I read this gospel with first. We got into all like early mystic scripture together. We went to school together at Stanford. He was
mm,
my brother, my roommate, co-founder of Fear and Fancy. He's an all-around real one. And when it comes to even the conversation we're having around women, he's
yes.
somebody that has literally been in the street with me, uh, interrupting and intercepting domestic abuse to spit out into our hood. This is a brother that I love, and a brother that really knows this shit like the back of a hand. He is now a professor at the School of Education at the University of Colorado Boulder. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Kalonji, aka Kalonji and Zinga. Ladies and gentlemen,
Hey,
my guy Doc. What's up,
Doc.
bro?
What's up, brother? What's up? What's up, brother?
I
Oh,
know
Oh,
what's
you,
wait,
up
wait.
with y'all?
Oh,
Can
here
y'all
we
hear
go.
me?
Yes,
yeah, we
sir.
got
Yes, sir.
Okay, man. Man, y'all getting into it.
yeah. The thing is, like, this nigga dropped so many bars that like it feel like as soon as this shit is like some barbershop scripture shit. Like you
Absolutely.
could bring this into a
Facts.
barbershop and niggas be like, damn, okay.
Oh, listen, I definitely got the hand while I'm walking through the barbershop going like this, talking to him because
Yo,
it's so real. It's so real. And I think these are the discussions that we've had. And that's why I was saying, like, this is what real brotherhood is. Real brotherhood is holding you accountable for your humanity.
Ooh.
None of that other bullshit, none of them other labels that don't matter. Tell me about your humanity, brother. Who are you as a person? Have you healed as a person? Are you keeping good energy around you? Are you realizing how to love and care for and be there for the people that are a part of your tribe and outside of your tribe? You know what I
man,
mean?
it's
Like,
accountability, brother. It's
brother,
accountability, right? It's holding you to the task of, where you need to get. You know what I
absolutely.
mean?
Absolutely.
That's what's up. That's what's up, man. I appreciate y'all doing this, and I appreciate y'all making the connections from this text that's 2,000 years old
Yeah.
to right now,
So
to
right
right
now.
now in this moment.
Yep.
And it's a moment of precarity. It's a moment of confusion. It's a heavy moment. But I feel like this text, I can always call on this text, to be quite honest.
Always, always.
Mm.
Yeah.
His whole philosophy, like in this one, is about the self, like you were saying, Yui, like turning
Mm-hmm.
inward. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but it was also about the community because he's rolling around, mind you, with some other wild ass rastas and shit, and like they all in the woods and shit, and and he's seeing some fuck shit. He's like, damn, these niggas is still fuck boys. So let me
Mm-hmm.
let me bust this shit on them. So they'll be like, Jesus, how do we enter into the kingdom of heavens? He's like,
Exactly.
I got to give a new one. So put this one up, Brooklyn. He goes, you see the speck that's in your
Mm.
brother's eyes,
Mm.
but you don't see the beam in your own eye. When you get the beam out of your own eye, then you'll be able to see clearly to get the speck out of your brother's eye.
Listen, what the Wu-Tang say? I call my brother son because we shine like one.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
That's what it is.
You know what I'm saying? Like that is just so much of inner reflection and accountability. And I think that's where we are today. You guys, and I just say this as brothers. How are you I'll say initiating those conversations, or not even initiating those conversations, or at least how are you even receiving or seeing these conversations? Because I for a long time, until I had to learn, when I would see those blank trash, blank this, blank that, these type of comments, you usually would have a visceral reaction to defend.
Mm-hmm.
But then when I got older and as I started to really understand, I'm like, no. My first reaction is to listen.
Mm-hmm.
Can you guys speak to like that journey even in yourselves? Because it was a journey for me. I know the 22, 21, 23-year-old me. I was wild.
Mm-hmm.
But as you get older, you just realize, again, quoting what Pot said, like, this is who we come from. These people that give us our name, these are the women that fight for us.
Yeah.
And regardless if we know them, regardless of their family, regardless of whoever they are, they deserve and they are of the utmost respect. You know what I'm saying? Utmost protection.
What was for me? I'd be with Kalonji and we'd be, learning about Black history.
Mm.
And he put me on a book. I put him on a book. And as I started going through Black history, I'd study the Black Panthers. and see that the women were
Word.
actually operating. The women were the COOs of the Panthers. You know what I mean? And then I'd go back to the 1920s to Garvey, or I go to civil rights. Everywhere I turned, I found that women were operating, but not in the forefront at most of these, at least in terms of the power structure. It was always a patriarchal organization. And that was when I started looking at myself. And I was like, holy shit, am I doing the same shit? We were organizing, and I'd look around like, and I'd ask the women in our organizations, like, do you feel empowered here? And they'd be like, every time I speak, you guys speak over me. And that,
Man, that's a big one,
yeah, I
man.
mean, and so that to me, there was a connection. I was like, and I'd be like, nah, I literally be like, nah, you just gotta speak louder. Like you be coming in and like some dumb shit like that. Like, or like,
Come
yo,
over me.
yeah, it's ridiculous. So it be those. That's why I always go back to that, because it's so important that we see, in the same way we're able to see white women who are not like like supremacists. Just a woman in New York, like at Central Park, just
Yeah.
a white woman calling the cops, but using her power, and she's aware of it. Other times they're not aware of it. There's more subconscious. We have the same things in us, and so
Absolutely.
that was a turning point for me. What about you, Doc?
What about you, Doc?
Man,
And
I
by
mean,
the way,
I'll
what's
definitely say.
today's mathematics for you, bro? I saw you.
Today's mathematics,
what's
my
going
brother,
on,
man. A little bit of a lip service whiskey.
Hey, let's go.
Yes. Kerry Washington's on the front. I don't know if y'all saw that. Quick. And then, and that's a little bit of ginger beer, like a a little mule, basically.
Okay.
And then a little Jilly the Kid.
Hey.
Okay, yo, listen, Jilly the Kid. I think that's much more PG than Hell's OG. I like that. That's much
I know,
better.
right?
That's much better.
Ladies and gentlemen, on the lit review, Baby Jesus versus Satan. So yeah, what was it for you?
For me, you know what I'm saying? Like, I really think it is the talking over piece. You know what I mean? I feel like, even when I speak to women now, whether or not it's, women that are students of mine, women that are colleagues of mine, women that are family of mine, like one of the things that, I think that I hear oftentimes is like, this whole speaking over, like Kalonji, like you like when I'm in your class, when I'm in your, around you, there is like space for me to exist and give my voice to the conversation. And like for me, I'm like, what? Like that seems so basic, right? That seems so like what? Like I'm not literally silencing you, is what you're saying. That's the compliment, you know what I mean? Like that's and I think that's important, in terms of the work that we're all doing. How are we amplifying women's voices, right? And yeah, as far as turning points, man, there's been that. Shoot, I still need a couple more turning points, to be quite honest, because I'm still on that journey of developing in that way and being able to turn off that programming, because it's not something that as you were saying, Chief, it's a socialized thing.
It's literally
it's part of the culture.
Yep.
Yeah. It's programmed from the family level all the way to the images that we're getting fed through media, all of that,
Yeah, and it's honestly, it's confusing when you're a boy, right? And I think this programming works across sexual orientation, for the record. Like, so the when we talk about dealing with women and our relationship with women, it's not. I'm not talking about a heterosexual man and your girl, bro. Like I'm talking about somebody who may identify as queer or homosexual, and his relationship to his female friends, and his relationship to his sister and his mother. It's across the border, for the record. But when the disclaimer or the side note becomes the only thing you remember. I'll get it. But what were you saying right before?
Yeah, I mean, we were just talking to because I lost my side note too right there, because it's goddamn LOG.
but fumbles.
But I think just in general, just again, it is we were talking about programming and how it is so programmed into us from young. Yeah.
So, little boy, I'm trying to talk to this girl at a time, right? I was so shy, bro. Like when we go to the mall, I was not the nigga. Like I was not a Mac. You know what I'm saying? I was a nerd disguised as an athlete and cool kid, you know what I'm saying? And fashionista, nigga, but I was not a Mac. You know, I didn't have the game. I couldn't speak. And so I remember going to this under 18 club in Boston, in Revere. For those of the Bostonians out here in Saugus and Revere, we would go up in the Toyota Celica, the old Honda Civic with the chrome muffler. You know what I'm saying? We would go up there, and I remember dancing with this woman, this young girl at the time, and it's like to no, 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 that Don Penn shit. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so, nigga, I'm getting it in. You know what I mean? I'm like
And it was
12.
a two-step.
I don't know how old I am. 12, 14, 16. But it's an under 18 spot. And then my homie is like, yo, bro, put your hand on her ass.
Yeah. That's it.
And,
Yup.
and
That's
I
it,
was
right?
like,
That's it
so,
right there.
no, watch,
Yup.
watch. So I
Yup.
moved it from her middle of her back, which is where it should be. And for those of you gentlemen, when you hug a woman that you don't know is not your sister, up, you know what I'm saying? Keep your
No
hands
lower
up.
backs.
You
Come on
lower
now.
back is such a
Y'all
fucking
know.
you cheap,
Y'all
you
know.
creepy for that. For the
Y'all
picture,
know.
even you slide it in the picture, you fucking
Y'all
creep.
know.
I know it because I saw myself. You know what I'm saying? I did that. So now I know better. But so as a kid, I moved it from mid back. I went to lower back. But he's like, nah, nigga, put that shit on her booty, nigga. And so I felt pressure, bro. I put that shit down, dog. I cupped it. It felt great. But like I didn't, then I looked at the girl's face like, is this okay? You know what I'm saying? Like, she like laughed.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that laugh was a laugh of discomfort. I don't know if it was like she enjoyed it. I don't know if she was like, yo, I've been done this like 2 years ago. You late, bro. You still a virgin. I could tell. I don't know what that shit meant, but that's the moment. And from then on, I was like, damn, I gotta be assertive when I talk to women. I gotta put my hand on her ass early. And that shit,
Yep.
that's that flip. And that, you know what I mean?
And I love that you said that. You talked about that laugh because as men, we know what that is. Like we know we know that. I hated that. You know what I'm saying? Especially as an older brother, 2 younger sisters. Like I hated that laugh, and I think that was one of the things that very quickly, as you just get older and you see more examples and you have more experiences, you look back. And I think that's one of the main things that you see, especially in society, with how a lot of men are responding to the quote unquote Me Too movement and these different movements that are coming out, where women are saying, just listen to us, listen to what we're saying. We won't be silenced anymore. And I'm like, you can't expect a soft delivery from someone who's being murdered. You can't expect a soft delivery from someone who's being terrorized.
Wow.
You can't expect, say it to me nice. Nigga, fuck you're nice. Are you fucking serious? Ain't no nice.
Nah, we not there.
And the thing about, man, I love that story about, those moments with your homies, because that's really it, right?
Yeah.
Like for me, it was not a situation of like being with a woman. Like I think I always had at least some level of respect in a one-on-one situation with a woman. But like, how did my homies in my ear sort of affect the way that I thought about different things? And like, how do you operate when you go on, like when you have to talk directly to your homie, to the next man, to sort of like, go right at the patriarchy, you know what I'm saying? And it, to me, honestly, it takes me back to, a very particular piece that we were actually on today. It's from the Gospel of Thomas. If your leaders say to you that the kingdom, hold on. Let me stop. Let me pause. So do y'all want the hip hop version or do y'all want the English version?
Listen, I was just about to say,
I
he's about to go straight blueprint on us. He's about to go straight.
I can't do it in Aramaic. I can't do it in Aramaic. I can't do it in Greek or Hebrew, but I can do it in hip hop or English. Hip hop version?
I want the hip hop version.
Let's do the hip hop version.
Word. Okay. So if your leaders say to you that the kingdom's in the sky, then the birds of the sky will fly there before you. If they say it's in the sea, then the fish will precede you. Rather, the kingdom's inside us. In your blood and bones, the regime of Jah lives. Your raw guts are stardust. And everything that grows from the earth is a miracle. But just because it glows, it isn't worth killing niggas for. I rose for the dirt. Call me Lazarus of Nazareth.
I need
Where
the
did
DJ Premier remix of that right now. I need the DJ. I need DJ Premier on that right.
Yeah, I wanted Brooklyn. I wanted to do a read along. I was like, damn, is it gonna show up right here? This is fucking amazing.
So I mean, what I get from that piece is like he's saying that the kingdom of heaven is not in anyone else.
No,
it's not in the sky. It's not, it's not in the afterlife. It's not, it is right now, here and now, inside of yourself. So I think, and I want to connect this back to what y'all were just saying about, confronting the patriarchy, confronting, toxic masculinity. Like, it's with us, bro. Like, I think when we're young, we're looking to anybody else's, signal as to like where we need to go, right? We're looking to the preachers, we're looking to our teachers, we're looking to our parents, we're looking to all these things, and those things are necessary. But what is Thomas saying, bro?
Yeah,
he's saying the kingdom's inside us.
Yes,
right. It's inside of us and outside of us.
Absolutely.
And the second part of that shit, when he goes, rather the kingdom is within you and outside of you. But he says, when you know yourselves, then you'll be known, and you'll realize that you're children of the living Father. But if you don't know yourselves, then you live in poverty, and you are the poverty.
And that's poverty, bro.
You are.
Yeah.
Wow.
You are. When you don't know yourself. So to connect it, when we don't look in, when we don't know ourselves, that's what it is.
Until we protect our women, uplift our women, love our women, care for our women, we will be in poverty.
Absolutely. 100%.
We cannot there is no riches without them. There is no wealth without them.
Yes.
And all of us. All of us.
Yeah, and it's also related. I mean, you talk about women, but the future of our children is very much related and tied to women. You look at this whole situation around infant mortality rate in the Black community, right? Infant mortality rate with Black women is twice as high. It's astronomical as compared to the norm, right? And so given the fact, look, it's it's Tupac's birthday today. He came up with this idea that yes, absolutely, to the guy, Tupac Shakur.
Yes,
but one of the things that one of the things that he tatted across his belly, right? Thug life. What did that mean? The hate you give little infants fucks everybody, right?
Yep.
The hate you give little infants fucks everybody. And we, I think we as a country are starting to deal with and realize the pain that Black men are dealing with in this country, right? But we cannot forget about that this is also just as hard times 10 on Black women, just as hard times 10 on Black infants, all the way to infants. You know what I'm saying? That even from the time of infantry, that is something that we're dealing with, the pressure of the systemic racism, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think one thing you bringing up, bro, is like redefining what protection means. Cause I know there's some men watching this and they're like, yeah, man, Black men are the muscle. Yeah, we gotta protect it's like all physical. Physical is part of it. Mainly protecting her from your physicality. You start there. Then the brothers, then the other people.
We gotta talk there because I was about to say that. Listen.
Like that's the beginning of protect. I just want to define that. For niggas.
If there's any men listening to this right now,
yeah, bro.
If you have or if you are to dare put your hands to the Black to a woman in general, but to the Black woman, listen, man.
Listen.
I don't even have to. It gets me so emotional and so like. That is undefensible. It's indefensible. It's indefensible. And this is coming from someone who understands. We talk about mental health. We know a lot of this stuff is mental health. We know a lot of this stuff is trauma transferred, and you trying to figure out the best way to transfer that pain, brother. That ain't it. There's no way.
That ain't it.
No way.
No excuses.
No excuse. No excuse. No excuse ever in any way, shape, or form. No matter what is done to you. No way. I'm sorry, Chief. I just
Nah, bro. I'm
Preach,
all.
man.
you know how
You know-
our energy. It's hard for us to even talk about this.
Yeah, I know. I mean, we keep talking about this. We'll be both bawling and yelling in about five minutes. I'm like, you know what I'm saying? I'm here. I'm with you, but we. It's like, and just so you know, I laugh it off because that's the way we survive.
Kill
Some
one of you
people were
niggas.
talking
Literally
about.
will kill.
I know.
Listen,
That's the thing.
I'm on Twitter today. I see a video in DC of niggas taking a beautiful black young woman and violating her and laughing, thinking it's funny and thinking it's cool. Getting on live. I'm on the live. I'm DMing the dude saying, yo, I will send people to DC to check you, bro.
Yeah, no.
Because how the fuck do you even put something like that out there? And I'm not promoting this shit. I'm just saying we cannot live in a society where our women are on the front fucking lines, fighting, dying for us and by us.
Man.
Come on. What this ain't what kingdom are y'all talking about where this is still happening? How can we act obtuse?
I swear to God, niggas is lucky we in 2020, bro, because this kind of justice would be handled in a very different way. When I see what y'all are doing, it would be handled you are lucky and you are still alive. So that means you have the time and the opportunity and the space to change. And I understand that you feel powerless, which is why you are asserting your power over your partner, over your sister, over whatever woman's in your sphere, because you feel powerless. As Mitch Brown said, hurt people tend to hurt people. And that's one of those age-old sayings that is the realest shit ever. So because of the pain, and that's why I think, you know, it's up to us to be compassionate and find ways that Black men can heal. And to be 100% though, this is where I just focus on children. You know what I'm saying? That's why I always taught.
Yeah.
I mean, all of us have focus on mentorship, because some people, they're not going to change till their grave. You know what I'm saying? But the young sponges out there are. And this is where it becomes revolutionary to be a children's book writer right now.
Especially right now.
If some of y'all not doing something at home, get in the game.
Absolutely.
Get in that lane.
Yo,
I'll invest in you.
Now.
Just let me know.
Yes.
If your shit fire, if you need, you know what I mean, get your little illustrator homie that does some shit right now and needs work. That'll
and the
change
piece about the thing I was just gonna say about, you know, young people and get in their ears early, right? Get in their ears early is that affects generations and generations, right? And it flips really quickly, right? So, you know, we have young people right now organizing for this very, you know, situation. Asada's daughters in Chicago, right? You know, young women that are organizing around criminal justice reform, because, you know, criminal justice is not just an issue that affects, you know, Black men. It's you know, it affects Black women. It affects, you know, Black families. So,
absolutely,
you know, I think, you know, the thing about the education piece is that young people are starting to raise their voices, right? Young women are not they're not the same. You know, they're taking it to the next level. You know, inspired by the Assata Shakurs, right? Like, you know, inspired by, you know, these soldiers that have really laid it down, you know, in our community traditionally as Black women. You know,
I mean, even Bell Hooks.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
I mean, you want to talk about someone who
flames.
pulled the cover off and said, "Look here, niggas." You know what I'm saying? Like, look. You know what I mean? Like, even those type that a woman though.
Yeah. So
exactly. And the thing about Bell Hooks.
Oh yeah. I'm about to talk about Bell Hooks too.
Nigga. Go ahead.
You know I love, you know, bro, when we was in Omaha.
Yep.
And we was finishing 85 to Africa. I was with Yui Kalonji and I'm reading this Bell Hooks book. I'm trying to write the last song. the last record, and the other half.
Yep.
I'm reading this
The other
Bell
half.
Hooks book
Yep.
called "We Real Cool," and it's about black masculinity. And I remember this myth she told at the end. She said, you know, of all the myths when it comes to what we need as a black community, all myths regarding men and women, I love Osiris and Iris and Isis, the Osiris and Isis myth, because she said in different translations, Osiris and Isis are sometimes siblings, other times they're lovers, other times they're like husband and wife. Other times they're just sheerly just a god and a goddess.
Mm-hmm.
But in all of them, they tell a story. And because there's variations of that, it allows black men and women to look at it as platonic relationships or as loving relationships. And the story is simple. Osiris is scattered, his parts have been desecrated and severed by the enemy. His body parts are all over the universe. His head is one place, his eye is another. And Isis commits to scouring the entire universe and finding every bit of Osiris to put him and piece him back together.
Yep.
That is the story of black women. That is the story. And Shakira Mingo is quoting the song that was inspired by Bell Hooks and that myth. She said, "You didn't lie when you said boys pretending they're men." And that's from the song The Other Half.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to
and that's the importance of doing the work. I saw someone in there saying, like, you know, they basically said, can hurt people be accountable to check themselves from continuing the pattern? And I always say this. I always say that, you know, when you make a mistake, you have two responsibilities, right? You have the responsibility to teach yourself and teach everyone around you so they don't repeat it. And that's one of the things that I think accountability for me as a man, and just as I continue to just gain wisdoms, that I'm learning that two sides to quote unquote making a mistake, that two sides to healing, that if it doesn't, I'm not served if I only get the knowledge, heal myself, and don't spread it to those around me. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't serve me well. Kalonji, did we lose you? Oh, Kalonji, you there? You good? You good, Kalonji?
I think the Wi-Fi.
The Wi-Fi.
The Wi-Fi.
We got a little bit of Wi-Fi.
Spotty.
We got a little bit.
He'll rejoin.
Yeah, he'll rejoin. But that's what I said. I'm like, it doesn't serve me to not heal those around me. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't serve me not to, because I think that's another thing that's happening. You having brothers that are doing the work. I just don't get it, man. I don't listen. These conversations are easy for me. I didn't pull so many guys to the side because there's no fear. And I always ask that. I say, is it the fear of you being found out too?
No, it is. It is, bro. I have that. I have that fear. I have that fear every Insecure episode, bro. I'll be like, fuck, I did that. Oh, fuck, Issa. How did you do this?
Issa, listen.
And then all here, I hear my phone ding, and I'm like, fuck.
Issa put my whole parenthood situation out there. I said, God damn,
bro. Sunday is a day of reckoning for me. We are in the age of reckoning, but Sunday after Insecure on HBO, ladies and gentlemen.
My phone went crazy. You said she put your whole shit out. I said, I did not see. You know, my female friend, you know, my close women friends, first thing they do is they don't even say it. They just be like, did you see Insecure tonight? What'd you think about it? I'm like, it was all right to the end. I ain't really like that. That ending was too familiar.
But, you know, thank God for that. Hey, Doc.
But you need those.
Dr. Kalonji and Zinga back.
Man, the internet's tried to.
They tried to wait you out. They tried to get you out of here.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to bring up earlier was that.
What y'all talking about?
I wanted to bring this up. I think it's important, and God does these things on purpose. God is a trickster and a brilliant marketer, and so when God wants something to be done and people to be veered in one way, God does things like this. When Nipsey Hussle passed, many people that didn't know him, they found out he was Eritrean and African American. And in that same year, A year later, 1 million plus black people from the diaspora go to the continent of Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
When a woman
Wow.
amidst the pandemic, who was a protester and a demonstrator and a
Yes.
protector of black people, Oluwatoyin Salau,
Yes.
Yes.
is
Yes.
Say her name. Say
essentially
her
Say
name.
her name.
kidnapped and assaulted,
Mm.
raped, and murdered.
Mm.
It is of no coincidence that she is Nigerian American.
Mm.
It's no coincidence at the same time that Tiwa Savage and other uh, strong women on the continent are part of the We Are Tired movement, as we
Mm.
on this side are focusing on programs like defunding the police, abolishing the police, all the things that we're focusing on. And then all of a sudden, in the midst, those two, the We Are Tired movement on the continent and this new age of that black people are going through on this side, in the middle of that, a woman named Oluwatoyin Salau is
Salau.
murdered. And that is to highlight in us that we have
19
to
years
turn
old.
inside, because femicide on the continent as well
Mm-hmm.
is at staggering numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And what that says to me is that if I'm a young black girl watching this right now, if I'm a young black girl and I see in the world that when I turn to here in the US and when I turn to Africa and when I turn to Brazil and I look around in all of the black world,
Mm-hmm.
there is no place safe for me.
No place safe.
Mm.
Exactly.
Come on, man.
And you wonder, and you niggas is hurt because of some tweets. You niggas are in your feelings talking about it's a gender war.
You know what it is, though? I actually think we've been sending the wrong message to men like us. We've been taught to think men have less emotions, are less in touch with the emotion. Maybe less in touch, but less emotions. No, I actually
No,
think men
absolutely
are
not.
more
Yeah.
emotional.
We are way
Oh,
more
yeah.
emotional.
That is why we try to shield them off, and we're paranoid when we feel feminine, or we
Yes.
feel like, oh, he's gonna call me a
Mhm.
homosexual.
Yes.
Anytime my feelings are out there and somebody talks about it, oh my God, like that is sensitive. That is actually the most sensitive person.
If women were anywhere near as emotional as they try to make them seem, more of us would be in the ground. Period.
Wow.
Period.
Yeah.
Wow.
Don't play like that.
What you're saying
Yo,
about
come
that
on.
is
Come
real,
on,
man.
y'all.
Like, think about
Like-
every suicide bomber, every
on.
terrorist, come on. What we need to go inside a little bit. We need to deal with something, right?
And that's a parallel. That's a parallel with white and black, so-called white and black people, European Americans, African Americans in this country. It's the same thing. If black men were as vicious and as savage as you thought, nigga, y'all would be dead, bro. You think that we wouldn't come up in this bitch the way we are, the most resilient motherfuckers on the planet who've been here from day one, that we couldn't come and just slash? But we never did. We had rebellions, but we never chose to tap into the only the dark side of us, only the anger. We never did that because we had compassion as a people, and we had compassion as black men amongst our people. The same thing applies, and way more, to women. They have had compassion in spite.
Absolutely, in spite, and it brings, it'll bring any human being to tears to see that the ones that you love will fight for, will go to the end of the earth for, the person who filmed the murder that led to the current uprising that we're in right now was a woman.
George Floyd?
Really?
It was a woman. It was a young black woman that filmed that. And she's been open and honest in saying about how traumatic it has been for her.
She's in therapy.
It had to be. It had to be to see that. We have seen this over and over again. And I mean, this is something that I have been trying to reiterate, is like, through seeing these images, this has a lot to on us, man. Like, it's for a reason, to a certain extent. It's for the reason of inspiring fear, right? Like if we go back to lynchings originally, right? That was to inspire fear. That was the entire point, right? It was so you need to know, to stay in your place, that your action will be met with resistance, right?
Yep.
What we need to realize, though, is that those images are not a true depiction of our power. Right,
Mm-hmm.
we have to look at other places to really understand the power. Right, we need to look, like you said, behind the camera. Right, we need to look at this woman taking a pic, having the insight to say, you know what I'm saying? That's a and so this is
not
the one
to
thing
run,
I want
not to act like
on.
you didn't see it, not to be scared. There is no fear, because people don't understand the world that they have to live in every day, regardless of. She might have. I'm not going to use that as an example, but I'm going to say, but just knowing that you have to protect the same ones that might hurt you, and still protecting them anyway. If that doesn't, that's come on, that's heavy. That's heavy to live with that. So I just said, we don't know how many, man, there's so many wars that our women are fighting, man. And if we're not willing to step up and fight alongside with them for all of them, then get the fuck out the way. Seriously, you niggas can get the fuck out the way. Seriously. And I mean that with all due disrespect. With all due disrespect, get the fuck out the way,
man.
Well,
see, that's the thing, man. Some of these sisters will come with the gun too, with the gat too. So we talking about like Harriet Tubman. You know what I'm saying? They'll come. Yes. They'll come.
Please,
they'll come.
I'm part of hashtag strap up. Get strapped. Bring it. Pack that thing on you. Pack that. Let them know. Hey, I packed that thing on me too. Let them know, Queens. Let them know.
Yeah, I know a lot of women that carry a CCW license, bro. Like they're not.
That's
playing.
my type.
They can
That's my type.
They can outshoot you at the range at 25 meters, nigga. Like, trust me.
Wow.
I remember Chief telling me that. He was like, "Yo, the best shooters in my tribe is the women. They think about me."
Yeah. The whole crew can shoot, but the women
be like that though.
Be
man.
the sharpest, but not,
Yeah.
You know how
hashtag get strapped. Shout out Taylor.
I still hit the 8 bullseye in a row. You know what I'm saying? So I can't let her can't come up in here at the range, nigga.
And speaking of protection and speaking of to the text, no one, Jesus said that no one can break no one can break into the house of the strong and take it by force without tying the hands of the strong, and then they can loot the house. If we think that our house has been getting looted, guys, brothers. If y'all listening, the house has been getting looted. We were just
talking about this, man, with the idea, man, like people don't give up power, man. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
And that's what I'm telling. I'm saying the house is getting looted. So for all of y'all that think y'all so strong, nah, that ain't it. Whatever you think is strength, it ain't it unless all of us is together, unless we all bind it. Period, bro. So the house be getting broken into because motherfuckers ain't realizing that they saying Black Lives Matter. And they only talk about themselves. They're not talking about every one of our soldiers, from the trans community, from the lesbian community, from my women. I mean, how for real, bro? Come on. We got.
I got ate up on that though, bro. Like I did a whole. I started speaking about on Sway.
You kept it real.
I went from Sway. And other interviews talking about pre-colonial homosexual and queer history, and I love I love Sway for just like opening the floor, like what I mean. It's always
Sway would bring it, man.
It's all Sway's a legend.
That, I'll tell you, my phone was going off. I was standing outside the room. I said, "This mother,
I walked out there. And,
what did you say though?
Bro, I was just breaking down different moments in history, whether it's like the king of Buganda, people knowing that he had a homosexual lover and it was open, but he also had his like figurehead wives. You know what I'm saying? It was a part of it. Or whether homosexual people or people identified as some form of queer, but it was obviously different words back then, would be considered like two-spirit people in Native American communities, where they had, and actually they were more powerful because they had a different balance of masculine and feminine energy. So sometimes they were looked at as seers and not put on the bottom, but actually put on a higher level. So I went through different examples and
just dropping facts.
I was just dropping the history. I didn't even say like, "Hey, you gotta believe this." Y'all, I wasn't pointing fingers. I was like, "This is what it is. Do what you will." People came on, caller came on, tried to tell me like what I was saying was wrong and dangerous, and it's because I'm out here in America. I was literally reading from African history textbooks, by the way. So that flip. My point was like, how can we talk about the highway to and from Africa across the diaspora? How can we talk about that 85 if it's not safe to go along that journey? I don't. There's no. I don't want to go to promised land if this shit still got these things in it.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And
But
so
see, I don't want to be a part of that. That y'all can leave that. That's not my heaven.
that's cool. That's why femicide and the assault and abuse of women across the world and especially in our communities, these are things that we have to handle in our generation.
Absolutely. And continue to do the work. It's a lifetime journey, man. Continue to do the work for every brother that is starting. Continue to do the work. Period. You are unlearning something that has been taught to you. You are unlearning something that has been, you know, an unfortunate and negative and horrible norm for you. You are dealing with a system that not only affects you, but also in a lot of ways, some women are even having to adapt to it to protect themselves. You know what I'm saying? To protect themselves, they have to adapt to it and go along with it. You know what I'm saying? Just to be able to feel safer in a system that has its foot on their fucking neck and is killing them even when they're trying to love us. So for any of you, do that work. Continue to do that work. Period. There's nothing but noise. There's just knowledge. So every time you hear a woman that gives you some new knowledge and tells you, listen, that's what I had to do. That's what worked for me. It was like every time a woman would check me and keep it real with me, it's a lesson.
Yeah,
it's a lesson.
But it's rooted in fear, It's rooted in fear to a certain extent. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like we're gonna have to deal with our fear of the Black women, right? Like the Black woman and the power of femininity is powerful, bro. Like, it's a powerful force. And I feel like for us to like realize, like, how do we even take some distance to reflect on our own connection to our own femininity, right? Like our own feminine, energy that's receptive, right? Not just that is aggressive. Both of those are parts of us, right?
And redefining what masculinity and femininity are, because I think that we actually look at certain things, like we look at if you're aggressive, it's masculine.
No.
Why? You telling me that a mother? You telling me that a mother, whether she's like a incarnated as a goose or a duck or a gazelle or a lion or a human being, that a mother with two of her children nearby wouldn't come at you with the ferocity and tenacity, the killer in her? Is that masculine?
Exactly.
Is it?
No.
Either it is or it isn't, but and that's the point. Is it or is it not? Is it the masculine within her, or is that actually feminine aggression and how that looks?
Absolutely,
because she's a mother. That's the most feminine you can actually be.
See, the thing is, women pick their battles, right? They pick their battles, right? Like, and I feel like we're just letting that shit flow. Whereas you know what I'm saying? Like we need to get to the point where, and this isn't.
You said that. So how can we call ourselves complex and they're all more emotional when we fuck up the whole room?
That's what I'm saying.
Like, I'm gonna get your ass again. I'm gonna see.
We have to acknowledge the complexity. You funny.
That's what women be like, okay, I see you. I'm gonna get your ass. I'm gonna get your ass.
Yeah, it's so real.
Right? So that to me, that's complexity. That's knowing, okay, now I'm gonna get your ass. Now I'm not even going, I'm gonna see you. I'm gonna see you.
Yeah, I wanna send Dr. Kalonji out with this quote from the Gospel of St. Thomas. And Jesus said to his disciples, if you were to compare me to someone, who would you say I'm like? And Simon Peter said to him, you're just like a just angel. And Simon Peter said to him, or Matthew said to him, you're like a wise philosopher. They're fucking just gassing this nigga. Thomas said to him, teacher, I'm completely unable to say whom you're like. You know what I mean?
Thomas.
Wow.
I need that trade.
And then Jesus is like, I'm not your teacher. Because you've become intoxicated by the bubbling spring I've measured out. I don't know what they said after, but in honor of the lip review and intoxication, Thank you, Dr. Kalonji.
Thank you,
And
brother.
Zinga.
Thank
Oh man, this
Blessings,
was
brother.
beautiful. I just want to say, keep going, man. I am your number one fan. Like,
appreciate you, brother.
no,
Man.
seriously, man. Y'all doing,
We need these discussions, man. We appreciate you, brother. Seriously.
Yeah,
absolutely, man. And I will definitely be back, man, if y'all do another round.
absolutely. We got a whole other season coming up.
Absolutely.
Okay, for sure, man. Y'all
All
take
right.
care, brothers.
Salute, bro.
Peace.
Man.
Chief.
Whew.
Dr. Kalonji, man. He did amazing. Amazing.
Yeah, man. And that, I tell you that guy, you know what I mean? It's just real ones. There's our brother Jalul said something to us that always stuck with me. And he said, like, amidst a time when there are few men of honor, there will come amidst them few men who carry the honor of many men.
There you go.
And,
there you go.
And
that's the bar. I mean,
Kalonji's one of them. You know what I'm saying? And
definitely carries the honor.
We're blessed to be around
definitely
a bunch, man.
Definitely, brother. I mean, I know these topics are heavy, man, and I appreciate that we were able to, because this was a, keeping it 1,000. You know what I'm saying? This was a being someone who's raised Muslim. Yeah. Even though the Quran, we talk about Isa, Jesus a lot. I don't know where this book came from. I'm like, yo,
it's more than the Bible, for the record, by the way. Like, they refer to Jesus more.
I grew up on Jesus. I'm like, I don't know why this assumption that, if you grow up in Islam that you're not learning about, we call him the Prophet Isa, but learning this text from him and then being able to see this prophetic text and being able to apply it to, today. And, this it is a war. It's a war, man. It's a war, man. And I for a long time, I felt bad, or I don't know, I think I still have sympathy or empathy, but only to the point where, at this point, it's checking niggas, man. Straight up. Like that. I go out of my way to check guys now, to check men now, because I'm like, no, and I don't know. I just know. The only thing that I do know is that I do not want to leave a world where the next generation is teaching and passing on the same type of negative, counterproductive, ignorant, ridiculous bullshit that we were drenched in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it took us years to get to a space where we're like, wait a second. This don't feel good at all. Why am I passing this pain on? Why am I feeling this way?
The goal of every new generation, to me, is to make new mistakes. The goal of every generation is to make new mistakes. We over here with the Gospel of St. Thomas, motherfucker ain't even in the Bible. You know what I'm saying? He was talking 2,000 years. It was too real for 2,000 years ago for us to get it. The Book of Enoch, which is of a black divine prophet named Enoch from Ethiopia, was taken out the Bible because it was too real for Europe at the time to recognize the blackness that existed in the Bible.
For now, it's too real.
And now it's too real. Yeah. So our goal is to make new mistakes.
Yes, sir.
We have to recognize the things that look too real for us now. Face them, embrace them. And next week, we're hoping that the professional athletes and the so-called powers that be in the sports industry make new mistakes. They don't make the same mistakes. NFL,
NCAA,
they don't make the same mistakes.
NBA,
and you learn, and you learn. And of them, of course, the NBA has been the most progressive, but the NBA still has
and they're split right now. You got Kyrie on one end, you got LeBron on the other end.
I know
it grows perfectly into next week's book.
It does
perfectly. What is going on right now? It goes perfectly into next week's book.
Next week's book is called $40 Million Slaves by William C. Roden. We have an amazing show planned for you and some guests that work deep inside the sports industry and have seen the insides and outsides of it. So I hope y'all tune in this week and every week, Tuesdays at 5 p.m. PST.
Yes, we
and 8
appreciate
p.m.
y'all
EST.
for per usual chat room. Y'all are beautiful per usual. We appreciate y'all. Hey, y'all have a good night, family. Peace.
Peace.